That's Dr. Lewis Clark again. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video on peripheral neuropathy and its three leading causes, three different categories of causes for peripheral neuropathy. You may not even know what a peripheral neuropathy is. Let me tell you what it feels like. For most people, it feels like pain, numbness, tingling, burning, coldness, and it usually happens in the feet or the hands. That's not all. It can happen in other places as we went through in the last video, but those are some of the most common symptoms of it. Now, if you know you have it, you might be asking this question, how'd I get it? Well, let's figure it out, okay? So there's three different main areas that causes come from. Number one is structural. There are structural causes, and I'm going to go through that in just a minute. Number two, there are metabolic causes. And then last, there are chemical causes. Okay, let's start with the chemical. Let's go through that first. These are the worst ones, the hardest ones to fix, and some of the most devastating. And the number one chemical that affects neuropathy, chemotherapy. People that have been through chemotherapy, you know how horrible the effects are of that treatment. It can be reversed, it can be improved, but it needs to be dealt with, and there are some different things that must be done in this particular category, okay? But chemical neuropathy is bad, but is reversible, and chemo is the worst of that, but it's not the only one. Did you know that cholesterol-lowering drugs have been shown to increase your risk of peripheral neuropathy by 1,600%? 1,600%, you know why that is? It's because of CoQ10. Those drugs deplete your CoQ10, which begins to then affect your nerve endings, and it causes you to lose nerves. So those are just some of the chemicals that you could be taking and not realizing what the effects are. The next one is by far, these two are the most common. This is the most severe. These are the most common. Metabolic, what do I mean by that? Metabolic means your ability to take in food and make energy. It means that you have a problem in that process. And the number one problem, you know what it is? Blood sugar. Blood sugar imbalances, okay? And of course, diabetes being the most severe of that, meaning that your blood sugar fasting is consistently over 126, or that your HA1C is above 6.4. That's diabetic level. And there are different progressions of diabetes. So typically, when you first get diabetes, you don't have neuropathy. But as that goes on and that blood sugar stays high, above 6.5 on your HA1C, remember this statement, above 6.5 on your HA1C means nerves die. Nerves die. So you're killing off nerves every day that your blood sugar is above 6.5 on your HA1C. You've got to get it down below that, period. But that's not the only metabolic problem. There's also anemias. There's also inflammation. There's also autoimmunity, which is a huge one that a lot of people don't think about. So you could have your immune system could be attacking your nerves, and therefore you're getting damage. And you say, well, my blood sugar's in check. Haven't had any chemicals like chemotherapy. I'm not taking cholesterol-lowering drugs. Why am I having this? Could be that you have an autoimmunity. These are the kind of things that have to be figured out if you're ever going to fix this problem and get it better and not have it continue to go on and get worse. And then the last one, and people always ask me, Doc, I don't have blood sugar problems. I haven't had chemotherapy. Why am I having this in my neuropathy in my feet? I said, I need to check your back. And they said, well, what does my back have to do with my feet? A lot. The nerves from your back control everything going on in your legs, including, of course, the feeling in your feet, the function of your feet. Even the circulation is affected by the nervous system because of the autonomic nervous system we talked about in the last video. So structural problems, if it's in the lumbar, or affect your legs, typically, and your feet. And if it's in the cervical, then it will affect your hands. And you can have things like cramps, spasms, restless legs. You can have a poor balance or dexterity problems. You drop things easy, have a hard time handling fine things with your hands. These are all signs of neuropathies, and these are all three need to be evaluated. So if you're working with someone to evaluate your neuropathy and they're not figuring out what category you're in and what caused it, they're never going to be able to help you fix it. And once you identify what caused it, you get that removed, start then rehabilitating the nerves. Now you've got some hope of having some better days. That's what we do. If we can help you in any way, contact my office. And until next video, live life well and God bless.